Hey guys. So I've had a lot of people been asking me recently or in the past why I haven't went went off on my son's father. Why I still will hold conversations with him, why I'm still civil with him, why I even bother answering him when he texts me, things like that. And I mean, if you know me personally, you know my story with that. I'm not going to sit here and rant about it. I'm not going to sit here and bash him because I don't know who's watching this. Um, but I mean, pretty much to sum it up, him, me and my son's father broke up when I was pregnant, and we got back together for a couple months after my son was born, and then we broke up for good. And he saw him a few times when he was little, and other than that, he hasn't attempted to see him anymore. Um, so I mean, a lot of guys aren't going to see it that way. They're going to try and justify it or whatever. Or I'm sure if anybody that my son's father knows is watching this, they're going to say that's not how it's happened or whatever. But long story short, yes, it is. I am living it. I know. I have proof. You know what I mean? So, whatever. I'm not even going to argue about it. But to answer people's questions, because he will text me out of the blue and things like that, and people always ask me, just tell him you don't want anything to do with him unless it's about your kid or your, money or whatever. And I don't hold any excessive conversation with him. I limit it to what I can. But I just want to tell you guys, I think, or explain myself. Not that I have to. I know I don't have to explain myself to anyone. I want to do this. I just know tons of women that it didn't work out with the baby father, and they hold this resentment and this grudge and this anger and whatever else. And I know you guys have all heard this before, but when you hate somebody, it takes more of your energy than it does theirs. And people have asked me that too, that why don't you hate him? I don't hate him. I don't hate him. Am I disappointed in him? Yes. Am I, do I sometimes wish that things happen differently? Maybe. But I don't hate. And I'll tell you why. Like I said, I see all these girls and they have so much hate for their exes. And if it's a fresh breakup, it's natural to have that anger. I had it. I mean, I'm not saying that as soon as we broke up, I was fine. But, these girls are constantly putting stuff on Facebook about how horrible he is, or they're texting him back and forth all the time and fighting. And it's really, first of all, it's wasting your time. Time that you could be having with your child to prove to your child that you love them and to show them that you care about them. You're going to sit there and bash the father and say he never spends time with his kid, he doesn't love his kid, he doesn't care about his kid. But you're not really, I'm not saying you're neglecting your child, but you're sitting there giving the father more attention than your child. Someone that hurt you, someone that hurt your child, someone that puts you guys in a bad place, you're giving them more attention than you're giving your innocent, beautiful kid. It really makes no sense. And I know that's not what you guys are trying to do, but that's what you're doing. So maybe just think about it a little bit that way before you sit there for an hour, 2 hours fighting back and forth over nonsense. And the second reason I don't do that with him is because it's not going to change anything. It's not. If they want to see their child, that's going to be up to them. Me fighting with them, me sitting here saying I hate him, he did this to us, he did that, he doesn't love his kid. I mean, it's natural to vent if if you have friends and family that you can talk to, that's good and that's natural and that's fine. But that's not going to change the situation. I mean, it's just like anything else in life. Sitting there and complaining about it is not going to change it. And that's one of those things where that has to be something the dad wants to do. Or the mother, if you're a father and the mom's not involved. But I'm just speaking from my life. Don't force the father to be in their life. And obviously, I'm not a psychologist or any crap like that, but that's just how I feel. Do not force it, because then it's forced. It's not genuine love and genuine care. I mean, it's like a relationship. I personally would not want to stay with a guy that didn't really love me, and I knew that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to force a relationship that's not good or that's not really supposed to be. And although I do believe if you create a child, you know what you're doing when you have sex. And you know that there's a risk, whether you're on birth control or whatever, you know that there's always a risk of creating a child. So I do believe that it should be your responsibility to care for this child. But at the same time, if the father chooses not to, don't force it. Your child, and I know everybody probably tells you this, your child is going to grow up, and I'm learning this as my child grows. Your child's going to grow up and realize and recognize the people who love him. Like myself, my grandparents, his grandparents, my boyfriend's family. My son sees all them people and realizes, hey, these people love me. And yes, one day he probably will come to me with questions. And I'll answer them the best that I can. But I'm not going to sit here and say, I hate your father, or I'm not going to sit there and bash anyone. Because at the end of the day, I would want my child to take that from me. To take that you shouldn't hate people. And that you shouldn't have such anger and carry that around with you. And another thing, to answer why I will answer him when he texts me, or why I'll have, slight conversations. Why not? It's nothing, it's obviously nothing flirty. It's nothing that, at least on my end, it's nothing that I shouldn't be saying. And I mean, honestly, for all you girls, if you carry that hate and that anger of your baby's father, I don't suggest texting them the way that I will text mine. But if you were kind of like me and you realize that it's best to just let it go and you're happy and you're fine without them, a lot of the times they know you're angry and they know that you're not happy with them, so they might try to get that out of you. But I'm good in life. I'm happy. I have an apartment. I love my child to death and he loves me. My family supports us. I have great friends. I have a good job. So why let him know, or why give him any indication that I'm not okay? Because I'm fine. You know what I mean? So don't sit there and argue. Don't sit there and bash, because he's going to take that and he's going to be like, look how much power I have over her. Seriously, I know that it's hard sometimes, especially like I said, if it's a fresh breakup, that's totally normal to be angry and all that stuff. But just kind of try and learn and spend time with your child, and just let life happen. Everything is going to be okay. Promise you. So that's really all I have to say for this video, but I just wanted to answer that question for a few people, and hopefully it'll help some of you ladies out there, or at least I tried to help. But like I said, just enjoy your life and enjoy your child, and he or she will love you and will realize as they grow up how much you love them too.